Hi guys, you're in the right place if you want to learn how to sketch by understanding what you're looking at rather than breaking things down into shapes. And today we're going to be doing this little song Sparrow. So a big shout out to Marissa Scales, and thank you so much, Marissa, for letting us use your gorgeous little photo for today's tutorial. So you need your scrap piece of paper and a pen that you like. You see how the markings are actually quite dark. So it's okay if you choose something where you're just going to be adding a fair amount of pressure to get the markings down, the borders on the feathers and whatnot. There's not too much actual shading in today's sketch. Our focus, what I'd like us to try to pay attention to today is use the markings to keep ourselves oriented throughout the whole picture, and see if, by following the markings, if that helps us with our proportions and whatnot. So we'll see how it goes. I have intentionally chosen this narrow piece of paper to keep myself from drawing something huge. Have no idea if it's going to be effective, but look, I could actually just trace it. Oh god, let's have a tracing channel. That would just make things so much easier for all of us. Okay, but we wouldn't learn anything. Okay, so are you ready? Just, you've got your pen, your scrap piece of paper, enough dicking around. Let's just go. So you see how first of all, like, it's a fabulous picture because it's such an unusual shot. He's all fluffy. I don't know if he's just finished a bath in a bird bath, but he's kind of like squashed and very kind of boxy. And so it's an unusual pose, but that's what's so great about it, because not every picture of a bird is just all the same kind of profile. So I think if we can end up with something today that does not look like a chicken, we're going to be doing well. So, okay, so what was I? So see how there's quite a bit of width here, all right? From the tip of the bill all the way over to the tips of his wings over here. So keep that in mind when you start your position on your paper. And I think the tail and stuff like will try to fit in, but I'd like you to begin over on the far edge of your paper. And let's just start with the forehead here. And see, he's just got like a little bit of a forehead on the bridge of the nose. Slight curve as the feathers are sticking up. And then pretty immediately, we've got the flat section. Oh, please don't go blotchy. At the top of the head. So don't worry about getting all these angles correct right now, because this is the type of thing that we're going to have to adjust later. And even at the back of the head, let's just give him a few of these broken feathers here. And we've got the break of the feathers is just a little bit above the bridge of the on the forehead. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit. Now let's put in the bill, and this the way we angle the top part really helps with the orientation of the head. So it's down a little bit, so you can slope it down a little bit, but if you have it level, then his head's going to be up more. If you make it too steep, then it will just change the way the whole picture looks. So let's just try a very slight downward angle through the top of the bill, and there's a few markings where it comes down the edge of the bill and underneath the eye. This is a small space. I'm going to back that up a little bit, and we're going to put in his eye. So I'd like you to have the eye a little bit small to begin with. And if it's too small, you can make it larger. We'll figure that out a bit later. And it's pale where the light is catching the curve of the eyeball, so just leave a section, a large section, pale, or just don't put any shading on it at all. He's really tucked in the foliage, the tree. So let's just do, see how the eye, there is an eye ring, it comes out and all the way around. There's an inner ring, very, very close to the eyelid. And then he's got like a slightly heavier eye ring underneath. And it's this eye ring and this, we want to watch our distances with these markings here. And I just want to do this cheek marking a little bit and carry this to the back, which kind of helps to frame his face. Let's see how he's got like a bit of a bridge here with these feathers, dark on his face. See, we can use these feathers on the top, on the side of his head and the top of his head to help define his profile. A little bit of the side. And then from the eye, it's out a little bit. And see how thick the bill is? Typical sparrow. Now this, the top, is further back than this out here. So just make sure, just move that out a little bit. And we have this up heavy bill to crack all those seeds they like to eat. got this heavy marking down the side of the chin. And pay attention to the width here of this gray. As well as how heavy and thick you need to make the markings under his chin. And then we've got this underneath that kind of blocks off that gray. And this little block here. I just want to try to keep everything in proportion from one section to the next. Just by looking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth from what you're doing on your paper to the photo. Doing this here. There's just a little similar kind of broken, very close to the edge of his tummy, on the coming down the chest. And we're going to end. So this marking here is behind the eye. So I'm just going to move mine over a little bit. And then let's do this chest patch here is about even with the bill. Okay, wasn't that agonizing? You're probably thinking, like, well, I don't want to project what you're thinking. I just hope that you're being tolerant of what I'm trying to do here. But there is a reason behind my madness, okay, you guys? Because look, if you want to sketch like a horse or a pinto, any kind of animal that's got a lot of markings, but the subject itself is a big sketch, then what you can do, hopefully, is just figure out a place to start and then follow the markings of the subject all the way through the sketch. And if you're keeping yourself oriented from one place to the next, hopefully it's all going to turn out like not too bad. This right here is what I'm trying to do. I know I'll be turning my paper later to try to get the proper angles and fixes and all that kind of stuff. Now, sparrows have a whole bunch of different sort of chocolate bands through them anyway. So part of this fluffiness is coloring, and part is going to be shadow. See how we've got the bracket around this part of the eye ring comes, and then there's this second one here. So just do lightly shade the first eye band and then pick up this other detail behind it. It's above the edge of the eye. And then we've got this stripe that's very distinct that comes out from pretty much, see how it bumps in right with the eye itself. So let's just take this eye stripe kind of down a little bit. This is awkward. Keep it narrow, more narrow than mine. It does come down. It's pretty and then it widens, then goes off to the back. And blends in with the feathers at the back of the head. Kind of loses its definition back here. Okay, and we've got this around his cheek that comes up a little bit close to the eye band. Now, see how this coloring here sort of carries along, and this is so typical with a lot of birds where the feathers on the face are short and then they're getting into the longer chest feathers, so there's usually like a border where there's a change in the way the feathers are. So what we're seeing here is the short face feathers, and then we're getting the longer chest shoulder feathers here, and then of course the markings. So if we do have this kind of darkness that we're going to carry through to his back, and then if you'd like, just we can use this same kind of method. First of all, he's got feathers sticking up. Second of all, they're small, so, and they're kind of like gray, but we're getting a lot of shadow and shading amongst them. I kind of like this better than my lines. I should have used this up here. I'll leave this open for now. So see this profile where we've got this is the back of the head and the back of the neck and then into the wing. So I kind of like this already. What's going on here? We've got this big patch. So how about if this is this one, and then we've got this one. Let's try carrying this and see how this stripe here is about, let's see, I need to move mine over more. Let's start it here instead. And we're going to have this patch right here. This little block comes down, and then we've got this heavier stripe. Down his side. let's just leave that one for now. And let's go over and put in this little patch, brown patch right here, which leads into a small patch under the wing. And down. Now we've got another patch here, very light brown under the wing. And this one here is still on the body. And then it angles. And see, we're drawing this, and look where it lines up with this. This was down, this way a little bit, and then this patch. Here. So we've got this one and this one that we've done. So check your distances, and let's put this one in. Here. So if we've done a pretty good job going from patch to patch, and if our distances is okay and stuff, I mean, it's not going to be perfect, right? But if it's good enough, then we should end up, let's go in and up here and start putting in some of these wing borders. It might actually help us with our proportions and all this kind of stuff. Okay, so we had this one here, and we've got, this is quite dark right here. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure if that's shadow. Let's go up. We've got the white wing bar. So this underneath here is shadow because his body is curving this way, and then the wing is on top. Now we're done. This is here. See, this is here, but look, I've got too much space. I have to bring this in. This is going to be his wing. And we'll just put in some of the darker markings on this row of feathers here, the second row. We'll go up, and then we'll do the shading with the chocolate brown feathers that are coming, they're at the top of the wing. They're coming off the back of his neck. I have these, and then we're going to have this profile. Let's see how the feathers stop, and then underneath they're the longer feathers on the wing. I have to check my distances here. Just don't want to make that too far down. And see this sharp angle back? See how this is quite pointed? And this right here, see this point here? That's the tip of the other wing behind him. Let's put in our borders first. Kind of has a fuzzy back. Okay, and this is the shading underneath the wing. We'll fix that in a second. Put in the tip of his other wing. And then what we've got is all the fluffy feathers under his bum. The line comes down a little bit. I think I've drawn him too short. And then he's a little bit flat at the bottom of the tummy. Let's take this profile where these feathers are coming out a little bit on his chest, and then these are the chest feathers are out a little bit, and it goes in, and then this is his tummy. It's a bit of a curve. Okay, gosh. He's so small compared to what I normally get myself into. Okay, I can see all the places where I want to do some major fixing. So if you've gone ahead and done some of the other markings, that's great. But if you haven't, just maybe take a few minutes now to put some in, because we want to make sure we have a good idea where to put the legs and the feet, and just see if this whole experiment of, but this is all buggered up. Because this, and this is like all too low and in the wrong spot. There are hundreds of varieties of sparrows. Some of them are striped on the chest and some of them are plain. So no matter what you draw, there's going to be a variety of sparrow that looks kind of like it. So it's all good. These are too heavy. Okay, his tummy. Let's put in the legs. See how there's just this little bit of darkness right here. So just think about where you want the leg. Well, no, you're not allowed to put the leg wherever you want, because that would just end up making him look weird. Now, this marking right here is actually one of the knobbies on the branch, okay? It's not all the cartilage of his foot. So what I want you to do is use your experience of just, we can first of all draw, because we see the top of his foot will come out, and we see the whole middle toe with the joints to it. So there's the center joint, and then down, the pad, the claw coming out the top, this toe, there's the little knuckle, and we know this, even if it's hard to see, you know what to do. Draw it nice and short, pad underneath, claw comes out the top, and then this toe is also short. Let's draw the bottom part of it. On the top part, the pad at the end, claw coming out the top. Now, with all the other birds that we've drawn, you know what to do at the back of the foot. We know the branch is coming through here, and he's going to have his back claw going out, and there's going to be cartilage for his foot, and around his toes. I should have done this, the middle toe I made too fat. This is very, very narrow. Now here, we almost have the same. This is the third toe, the middle toe, and the first toe is really short, and this is the knob on the branch. So let's go up, and we can do his first toe. How's your distance? Let's have the branch come like this. It's very small. We don't see too much of it. The toe, the claw, and then the longer middle toe. Watch your distance. The pad You see a little bit? And then very close to it, we've got the third toe, the claw. Now, what you can do is sketch a wide branch. And if you do that, then you don't need to worry about, because the back toe is very big with a long claw. So if you draw a skinny branch, you're going to have to bring this back toe around, and you're going to have to draw the claw in amongst the claws from the front toes. So just keep that in mind, because if you do this narrow, then this claw would come around, and you might even see part of the toe. It's a fuzzy little birdie, and okay. Now, see how we've got the tail going almost straight down? So go in a little bit from his bum feathers. And we're just going to put the tail, typical sparrow tails, quite long. And straight. This here is the border of one of the outside feathers. And see, these are the fluffy bum feathers that are like a V that go, they support the tail underneath coming out from the body. So just because of the angle, we can actually see these. So when you do this V down into the tail, just do this shading along those feathers. And then there is shading underneath where tail feathers are curved and not catching the light. Now, also, if you've made a thin branch, you're going to have to imagine what the bottom of his tail looks like. So you're going to have to do that as well. Okay, so he looks like pregnant, but at least it doesn't look like a chicken. Let's figure out where we need to do some corrections so that he looks a little better than this. So bottom line, we've got like this jagged profile. And let's fix this. Seeing that there is a gap there. I wish I had not been so hasty. with my markings on his head. Do you like the size of the eye that you've done? Is what you can do is just, if so, just go ahead and just put in a little bit more depth, darkness where we got, I have the nice dark markings plus shadow. And then for the gray parts, not too heavy with your pen. So for the chest profile, first of all, he looks more like a parrot. This is a bit too fat, I think. So, see how my profile is too up and down? Check yours, and if this needs to be pulled out to give him more curvature, because he's like squatting, right? He's a little puffy. I don't want to put any more dark into there. But I do want to change his profile a little bit. Can also do that by pulling in his tummy a bit. And I think I'm gonna end up giving him some extra spots. See how there's a little bit of his body here, and then the back of the wing? I've kind of lost that. Unless I can sort of change what I've done with should give him some shading where it's darker here. The curve of his body. on the chest. But I think because I don't really like that profile, don't forget to shade in his leg a little bit. They are pink. Doesn't have black legs and black feet like some of the other birds. Okay, see this profile here that I don't like? This is going to be branch. How about that? After I scribble on the branch a little bit, I gotta go back and fix his face. He's not cute little birdie. But I think I just need a little bit of a breather. And I do find it relaxing when I'm just working on scribbling and thinking about what I'm going to do next. So it's true that some of his tummy feathers are bumping into the branch, so you can't take the branch all the way up to his body. But just the same, we can do what we must. Right here, his body would be shading primarily the whole branch. Okay, so the bill is too wide. I just want to do a little bit of shading in here. Tone it down just a smidge. Soften the features around his face. And lower the markings on the bridge of his nose. And just do a little bit more defining on the eye rings. And this bottom ring does come up and join the eye band. Mine, I haven't done that. Oh, is it called an eye stripe? I think it might be. And this part of the eye ring is not as heavy as what I've drawn, but anyway. So check your profile. And remember, there's always a point where you have to basically correct, like unless you've drawn your picture absolutely perfectly, there are going to be things that you need to correct. To make it look right for what you've done. This dark patch is way too low. I think that's what's kind of pulling him down a little bit. And then this should be shaded. The curve of his body, and it's the shadow under the wing. Did yours turn out okay? Does he look like a little chicken? See how, if you could put in some curves for the profile on his back, that would be good. And just see if he kind of I don't know, I don't want to say lines up, but does he look okay? Kind of like squashed and stuff? I just want to soften this around his face. Not really like. He does have this section here. And then don't forget to put more of these markings in along his cheek, the side of the head. Let's break up his profile and give him a bit more of a crown that way. So I think that should pretty much do it. Some of these feathers are going up, and then at the back of the neck, the back of the head, those other feathers are going down. So as usual, thank you for your company. I should be concentrating on just adding a couple more. Good. And did you remember to shade under his tail? Okay. Oh, go on. You know I'm fussing, but you expect nothing less. Okay, this is pretty much it for now. Once again, thank you for keeping me company. Super duper proud of you. I'd love to see your work. If you can send me something, I'd love it. See how you're coming along. My email address is on the contacts for my channel. Okay, I think he's all right. Angles are okay. It's not too bad. He's probably a little bit stubby compared to the reference photo, but that makes a change compared to what I normally do. Okay, you guys. Really should shut it. Thank you so much for your company. Happy sketching, and I'll see you next time.